just, it's not warranted. I don't know. Handles it part-time all by herself, just fine. Well, but they must not be able to get a part-time. So let's make it full-time with benefits. Yeah.
Which will impact the budget, right?
Yeah, but I looked it up. He's actually budgeted for it. It was in the budget when we approved. Part of it. There's $34,000 budgeted. It used to be 17,000 for part-time. Now there's 34,000. So I'm sure that would be like
Well,
a
what is
starting
she making
salary.
right now?
She's making
That's part-time. 17?
no. I think she's making. It's 17,000 in the budget, but I can't remember how much she makes an hour. You know, she's on an hourly basis.
But if they make her full-time, she don't get benefits and
Oh, yeah.
raises, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. Yep. And then that way, you watch, Jenny will get another pay raise because she'll have someone under her then.
You know how this thing
Oh,
works.
I know how the city works. Oh, yeah. Oh, well. I think Darzinski's. What'd you think of him when wanted to wave his water bill?
Oh, no.
No way.
No, no.
No way.
I think when it changed hands last time, it should have been taken care of.
Right. He bought it. It should have been part of the closing.
How about Mr. Kelsey today?
Oh, I'm sure he's up north.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talked to him yesterday. Is you still up there? Yes. He'll be back Wednesday. I said, you might as well stay the rest of the week. No, I'm not gonna come back for it. Yeah, that's true. Last weekend, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe more weekends yet.
No, he is retired, yeah. He can go up anytime.
Never got to my place to move.
Actually, Larry's wife is retired.
All right, Don, if we could have the camera, please. Call to order the September 3rd, 2019 meeting of Lincoln Park Mayor and City Council. If everyone would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be immediately followed by a moment of silence, and in that moment, please have prayers for the family of Cindy Elder, who is the sister of one of our election workers who passed recently. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. If we could have roll call, please.
Councilpersons Breeding,
Present.
Higgins,
Present.
Kelsey, Parkinson,
Here.
Ross,
Here.
Salcido,
Here.
and Mayor Karnes.
Here. All right. Welcome sort of to the end of summer, I guess. Just this past weekend, or the weekend before, since our last meeting, we had the very successful Lincoln Park Days event. I want to thank everyone that worked to make that happen. I know Dennis Anderson had a good deal to do with it. John Kazoo, all the DPS for the work that they did on the park and all the other problems that we had here and there. We thank you for your assistance. And if anyone is in a volunteering mood this weekend, we're going to be having a cleanup at the band shell at 10 a.m. Figure it'll go from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So it's on Saturday, September 7th at 10 o'clock at the band shell. If you could bring your implements of destruction, such as rakes, shovels, and such, and come out and give us a couple hours, that would be a good thing. And then the following Saturday, there will be another cleanup, this one at the Historical Museum. So please come out and give us a couple hours. I started the school year again this year, today, even though school is not in session. It starts in full tomorrow with everyone. A lot of students will be walking to school, so I'm going to ask everyone to please be careful, especially at crosswalks. Just remember that the pedestrians have the right of way, and be mindful, and that not all kids cross right at the crosswalks, but they may periodically jaywalk. So just be attention in areas of schools. When you are going and dropping your student off, after you drop your child off, please be mindful that there are other kids that are out there. Saw that many times where once they drop their own kid off, then everybody else's kid is in danger. So nobody wants to start the school year off with that. It would be a tragedy for the driver, for the child, for the family. So please pay attention as you're going through there. But as I was at the high school today, there was a very nice presentation that was put on by Officer Stafford and it was Detective Stafford and Sergeant Hammerly, and it had to do with the ALICE training. So every teacher, every worker in the district was given an hour and a half of training with what we call ALICE, and that has to do with what would happen if a armed intruder would come in, if there was a shooter at one of the schools. It was a very good program that was put on by those gentlemen. I thank the chief for making that happen. It was well received. There should be more training as it goes through, and if the comments at the end of the meeting are recognized by the powers that be in the school board, there will be additional things. But with today's world, we need to get that information out there, that you need to protect yourself as best you can in these situations. So again, thanks to the chief for that. But I spoke with Mr. Robert Masters, the assistant principal athletic director at the Lincoln Park Middle School, who had some very good news, and that is that the Lincoln Park Middle School is excited to celebrate being awarded the National Foundation for Governor's Fitness Council grant. And with this award, our middle school now has a $100,000 state-of-the-art Don't Quit Fitness Center for our students to access for learning, growing, and enjoying. Now, this is the first in the state to be awarded this, and there is going to be a celebration of that in October. And I understand that the governor is going to be coming down to do a ribbon cutting at that. So it's a very good thing for the school system. I have invitations for the rest of the council for when the event is. So it's just you ask for things and sometimes you get them. It's just that's the way that it works out. We have a new person that is an employee by the city, and she has taken over for James Gallagher. What's the official title?
City Management Coordinator.
City Management Coordinator, and that is Nicole Kurla. So Nicole, would you mind coming up to the rostrum there? And she takes over for James, so she'll be the voice of Lincoln Park's Facebook page and many other things. Basically, everything that the city has something to do with, she's going to be there helping
anything
out.
for the city management
So
office.
you want to just talk a little bit about yourself?
I'm a Eastern Michigan graduate, and I'm excited to be working for the city of Lincoln Park in this position.
Okay, well, welcome.
Thank you.
All right. And I got you out of the meeting early anyway, right? Okay. All right, then with that, we will move on to the consent agenda. Resolved that the following items listed on the consent agenda be approved as presented to the mayor and city council. 1, approved minutes, regular meeting held August 19, 2019. 2, approved minutes, special meeting held August 19, 2019 at 5:30 p.m. regarding closed session property acquisition. 3, accept minutes, study session held August 19, 2019 regarding sign ordinance. 4, accept minutes, study session held August 26, 2019 regarding DPS supervisory positions.
So
I'll
moved.
Support.
Discussion? Of Clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Breeding?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. And that is for you. First item has a cover letter by Lisa Griggs, our Director of Finance and Operations. In accordance with the Uniform Budget and Accounting Act, it's necessary to adjust the current year's budget based on the projected revenues and expenditures as submitted by all departments. Staff is currently preparing final adjustments for the upcoming audit. Therefore, the final amended budget may vary once the audit is complete. Based on the estimated revenues and expenditures for fiscal year 18-19, the general fund is estimated to contribute approximately $646,000 to fund balance. The mid-year projection calls for a contribution of $100,000 to fund balance. However, the overall expenditures were down over $700,000 and revenues were up $177,000, helping to contribute to the fund balance. 25th District Court revenues once again came in higher than anticipated with an increase of $148,000, as well as the building department coming in $173,000 over budget. Nearly every department expenditure came in below the budgeted amount in the general fund, thanks to the diligence of the department heads continuing to monitor their expenditures. The anticipated contribution of fund balance estimates the general fund to be at approximately $4.4 million. The budget amendment is estimated prior to the start of the audit, and any final adjustments will determine the final contributions to fund balance. City's fund balance will reach the targeted 20%. However, there are still many fiscal challenges the city faces, such as pension and OPEB costs, which make it more important to have a healthy reserve going forward. So the resolution is resolved that the Director of Finance be and is hereby authorized to make adjustments to the generally appropriated revenues and expenditures budgets for the fiscal year 2018-19 as submitted.
So move.
Support.
Okay, discussion?
Yes, Your Honor, on the cover letter, it says September 5th. I don't know, for the record, you want that to reflect this September 3rd, or it doesn't matter?
Doesn't make a difference.
Okay.
See is the future. Further discussion?
Your Honor, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Could I get examples of what falls under general government?
We have Lisa Griggs, our Finance Director.
You're talking the general government department, correct? 923. So those are items that are not covered by other specific areas such as police, fire, finance. So it's going to cover like your retiree health care cost, your general liability for the city, bank interest, those types of general costs that are not specifically covered.
Revenue side.
Well, the bank interest, revenue sharing from the state, tax revenue, sorry, that's a good point. Those are the major components, so that's capturing all of that. You're welcome.
Anything further? Clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Higgins?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Breeding?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Next item is also has a cover letter from our Finance Director, Lisa Griggs. And the Michigan Government Finance Officers Association offers a fall training institute each year which helps local finance officials stay up to date on issues impacting communities throughout the state, as well as accounting rules and changes that directly affect Lincoln Park. Topics covered this year will address changes to pension and OPEB reporting, various CASB reporting requirements, accounting requirements for grants, and several other topics. All right. Resolved that Lisa Griggs, Director of Finance and Operations, be authorized to attend the Michigan Government Finance Officers Association Fall Training Institute to be held in Traverse City beginning on September 30, 2019 through October 2nd, 2019. The registration fee of $305, hotel accommodations, and mileage are budgeted in counting numbers 101-230-860000, travel expenses, and 101-230-960000, training. Be it further resolved, the city's travel and education policy will be followed.
So move.
Support.
Discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Higgins,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Breeding,
Yes.
Parkinson,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Next item has a cover letter from our city manager, Mr. Koppler, and it's a resolution to adopt a local agency pavement warranty program. As information, as part of the 2015 transportation funding package approved by the Michigan legislature, cities and villages in the state of Michigan must adopt and implement a local road agency pavement warranty program. Two separate resolutions are necessary to comply with the state statute. Once this plan is adopted, it must be submitted to the Michigan Department of Transportation by September 18, 2019. So, whereas the Michigan legislature, MCL 247.663, requires each city or village to adopt a local agency pavement warranty program that was approved by the Michigan Department of Transportation in 2018. And whereas the Michigan Local Agency Pavement Warranty Program was developed by the Local Agency Pavement Warranty Task Force for use by all 533 cities and villages in the format approved by the Michigan Department of Transportation in 2018. And whereas the Michigan Department of Transportation has received and approved the Michigan Local Agency Pavement Warranty Program consisting of special provisions, which are boilerplate, concrete, HMA, location, pass-through, warranty bond, a warranty bond form and contract form and guidelines for local agency pavement warranty programs. Now therefore be it resolved, the City of Lincoln Park hereby adopts the Michigan Local Agency Pavement Warranty Program and accompanying documents in accordance with the requirements of MCL 247.663. Be it further resolved, this resolution is made part of the minutes of the City of Lincoln Park meeting on September 3, 2019.
So move.
Support.
Discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Breeding,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Parkinson,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. The second resolution is whereas the Michigan legislature created a requirement, MCL 247.663, as part of the transportation funding package of 2015 that requires each city and village to adopt a local agency pavement warranty program that was approved by the Michigan Department of Transportation in 2018. And whereas the City of Lincoln Park adopted the Michigan Local Agency Pavement Warranty Program on September 3, 2019, and whereas the City of Lincoln Park agrees to consider a local pavement warranty on each project that includes $2 million or more in paving-related items and includes any state or federal funds. And whereas the Local Agency Pavement Warranty Program law requires each city and village to report annually on each project that includes $2 million or more in paving-related items and includes any state or federal funds, whether or not a warranty was utilized in the project. Whereas the City of Lincoln Park agrees to implement the Michigan Local Agency Pavement Warranty Program consistent with the guidelines for Local Agency Pavement Warranty Program document that was approved by the Michigan Department of Transportation in 2018, in which the City of Lincoln Park's adopted implementation policy defines the City of Lincoln Park's intent of its pavement warranty program. Now therefore be it resolved, the City of Lincoln Park hereby agrees to implement the local agency pavement warranty program and annually report in accordance with the law.
So move.
Support.
Discussion? Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilpersons Breeding,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Parkinson,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Next item has a cover letter from John Kazua, Director, Department of Public Services. And the Department of Public Services need to revise the fee schedule for water inspection to add fees for sewer tap connections, terminations, and inspections. The fees would be as follows: revised fee for water inspection from $50 to $100. And the new fees are covered in the resolutions. Be resolved that the mayor and city council hereby authorize the Department of Public Service to change the fees charged for water inspection and add the fees for sewer tap connections, terminations, and inspections as follows. Revised fee for water inspection from $50 to $100. New fees for sewers. Sewer tap connection or termination, $250. Sewer tap inspection, $100.
So move for discussion.
Support for discussion.
Okay?
My
Discussion.
I really think we need to amend this to include that the further be it resolved that the above charges be added to the user fee schedule. Otherwise, it isn't put in, we have an adopted user fee schedule. So I have no objection to these fees, but I think it should be included in the user fee schedule.
Okay, you want to amend the motion to include that?
Yes, please.
All right, is it good with the with the
Yeah.
supporter?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, then I would need to move on the,
Adopted?
How'd you say it, adopted?
Be added to the user fee schedule.
if adopted.
Yeah.
So we'll need a vote on the change, correct? Or yes or no?
There-
No.
The mover and supporter are okay with that? We can just go ahead
Okay,
and
we're good.
do the resolution?
So further discussion, there was,
Mike Higgins.
Yeah, my other discussion was, where did the decision for the amount of these fees come from?
John, we have John Kazoo of the DPS.
All three of these fees came from surrounding communities. The two new fees, which Lincoln Park did not have, we checked and other communities did have because of the time invested in I'm going to say my department, to go out and, number one, to make sure that when they do tap, a sanitary line is done properly. And number two, if they terminate an existing building or home, to make sure that it's capped off properly. I know those are items that the building department a lot of times does do, but what we have asked through the building department, we would like to do our own inspections on our sanitary and our water to make sure that they are not compromised. So basically, go back to your original question, it came from surrounding communities to see what they've been charging.
Further discussion? Call the roll, please, Court. Ms. Court?
Councilpersons Breeding?
Yes.
Higgins?
Yes.
Parkinson?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Next item also has a cover letter from John Kazoo, our Director of Department of Public Services. They are looking to replace aging vehicles in the fleet. The DPS would like to waive the bid process and use the City of Rochester's co-op award process and VersaLip Midwest My Deal contract. The truck that the DPS is requesting to purchase is a single axle, 39,000-pound chassis with a VersaLift 10-foot dump equipment, plow and salt spreader. Be it resolved that the mayor and city council hereby agree to waive the bid process and purchase a 2019 Freightliner with the dump equipment, plow and salt spreader used in the City of Rochester Hills Co-op award process and My Deal with a price not to exceed $147,742. Funds to come from motor pool account number 661-932-983000.
I'll move.
Support.
Okay, John, I have a couple questions in reference. We have John Kazoo again, our Director of the DPS.
Yes, sir.
The $147,000 thousand, was that budgeted to replace a truck?
Yes, sir. Actually, there wasn't more than that, but yes, the answer is yes.
And the Rochester's deal that they had, was at the end of that, is that a my deal price? That was,
It's a combination. The chassis and frame is coming through Rochester Hills, but what I want to call the dump body, the plow, and the salt spreader will come through my deal. This is similar to what we did for the water truck approximately 2 years ago. Same location.
so the cab and the chassis come from one location, which is the bid that
Yes, sir.
Rochester Hills had, and the rest of the equipment would come from?
Through my deal, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions for John? Okay, thank you, sir. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Ross,
Yes.
Parkinson,
Yes.
Reading, Higgins,
No.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. All right. Next item has a cover letter from Dennis Anderson, our Deputy Director at Lincoln Park Community Center. And information, the city budgeted $40,000 for replacement of emergency exit doors in the fiscal year 1920 capital improvement program. Authorization to solicit bids for the replacement of emergency exit doors were granted on August 5, 2019, and the bids were open on August 21st. 5 bids were received, with the lowest bidder being Jan Door with a bid amount of $35,640. Dennis Anderson, Deputy Director of Parks and Recreation Director, and Doreen Christian, Director of Parks and Recreation, verified the bids meet the specifications set forth by the city. The other bidders were Foreman Construction, total cost of $53,064. Allied Building Services, $178,000. Gendel Incorporated, $28,068.50, but with no paint included. And Royal Construction for a total cost of $49,300. So whereas the city has budgeted $40,000 in fiscal year 1920 capital improvement programs for the replacement of emergency exit doors at the Lincoln Park Community Center, and whereas the city has sought and received sealed bids for the emergency exit door replacement, now therefore be it resolved that Jan Door be awarded the bid to replace the emergency exit doors for a cost not to exceed $35,640, as they are the lowest best bid. And funds to come from account number 410-001-983-000-BG12. Be it further resolved that the mayor and city clerk are authorized to sign the contract documents.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Breeding,
Yes.
Parkinson,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Next item has a cover letter from Doreen Christian, our Director of Community Planning and Development, Parks and Recreation. The city received a grant from Wayne County in the amount of $85,000. Authorization to solicit bids on 2 Little Light fields at Quant Park were granted on August 5, 2019, and the bids were opened on August 21. 4 bids were received, with the lowest bidder being Automated Energy Controls with a bid amount of $88,000. John Myers, Building Official, Dennis Anderson, Deputy Parks and Recreation Director, and Doreen Christian, Director of Parks and Recreation, verified that the bid met the specifications set forth by the city for the proper lighting of the fields. Additional bidders were J. Rankick Electric Incorporated, total cost $110,573. Airport Lighting Employee Owned LLC, total cost of $158,500. Rawhorn Electric Incorporated, total cost of $232,220.85. So whereas the city of Lincoln Park received Wayne County Wayne County Park Millage Funding 2016 to 18 for improvements of Quant Park ball field lights. And whereas the city solicited and received sealed bids on the Quant Park ball field lights. Now therefore be it resolved that Automated Energy Controlled Incorporated be awarded the bid to replace the Quant ball field lights for a cost not to exceed $88,000 as they are the lowest best bidder. Funds to come from Wayne County grant funding and the remaining $3,000 from account number 101-704-818. Be it further resolved that the mayor and city clerk authorize to sign the contract documents.
So moved.
Support.
Okay, discussion?
Aaron, I have
Clerk
a
call,
question.
oh, yeah, go ahead.
If I could, are we going to install these this year?
I would think so, but seeing affirmative shaking of heads, so that's, we have Doreen Christian, our Director of
I
Community
have
Planning and
spoken with the
Development.
company that we are awarding the bid to make sure everything was above board in the time. They should have them done by November 1st. I've got the contract documents ready for the mayor to sign and the clerk, and then once we get those done, we're ready to roll. They're going to order them.
Very good. We have to send our thanks to Arlena Varga and
Yes.
to Wayne County for the funds of these. Yes,
Real quick, unfortunately, because of the pricing on this, we won't be able to do the flooring that we were talking about doing in the community center.
oh, that's not good, but,
I thought they were two separate.
Well, they were all going to be spent within that $85,000.
Oh,
So they are two separate, but they're all going to fall within that. So we have to take a step back and look and see what options we have to get that done.
okay, with each good news, there's a little bad news. So. Thank you. Is there further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Breeding,
Yes.
Parkinson,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Resolved that the mayor and council hereby authorize use of Memorial Park for the Zombie Apocalypse event sponsored by the city of Lincoln Park. The family event will be held on October 5, 2019 from 10 a.m. until 10 p.m. at the Lincoln Park Bandshell and Memorial Park. Further be it resolved that the event shall comply with ordinance 666.04A2 noise.
I'll move.
Oh, go ahead.
Support.
Discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Ross,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Breeding, Parkinson,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. All right, resolved that the accounts and claims payable for those items greater than $25,000 to be approved as follows. This, first three items I'm going to be reading, the checks have been released for due date. It's Benzinski and Company, Bond Counsel for 2019 road bonds, $25,400. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, September 2019 retiree health care, $42,892.17. September 2019 SB Actives, $125,414.42 for total for Blue Cross and Blue Shield of $168,306.59. We also have Blue Cross Blue Shield September 2019 retiree non-Medicare, $38,079.20. District Court September 2019 $49,255.17. Downriver Utility Wastewater Authority August 2019 excess flow $103,993. Principal and interest on Downriver Sewage Revenue Bond, $186,107.94 for a total to DUA of $290,100.94. DTE Energy Final Upgrade of LPDDA Project, $179,970. Great Lakes Water Authority, July 2019 water billing, $197,718.73. Insulated roofing contractor, City Hall roofing project, $45,411.30. City of Riverview, June 2019 dumping service, $31,854.65. State of Michigan, Emmons to Fort to Ecorse Creek, $33,057.01. And this next check was also released for due date, and it's Wayne County refund drain levy funds received in revolving tax fund, $251,551.
So move.
Support.
Discussion?
I have a question, Your Honor.
Yeah.
The bond counsel, just curious, how many payments do we make to them?
It would just be that one.
Just that one?
Right,
And then
there's-
not again until we go out again?
Yeah, typically what happens, all the costs associated with doing bonding is covered within the bond itself. So bond counsel costs, you have the finance company costs, which is this one here, and I think there's a couple other costs that I'm missing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Further discussion? Clerk, call the roll, please.
Mayor Carnes?
Yes.
Councilpersons Higgins?
Yes.
Reading? Parkinson?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
And Salcedo?
Yes.
Okay, that takes care of the action items. Now time for our city manager's report. Mr. Copler?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Have a number of things to kind of run through really quick. First item I had, we were scheduled to have our DTE rep come before council at the next meeting, which would have been on the 16th. In speaking with Jennifer Whitaker is her name. Speaking with Ms. Whitaker, she has a conflict on that night with another community. Had asked if it would be okay for her to come at the October 7th meeting. So I thought that would be okay. In exchange for that, there was one council member that submitted a number of questions, and if there are any other questions, please get them to me. You would have for her. She will have answers in writing prior to our next meeting. So we won't have her here at the next meeting, but we will have the answers to any questions that you may have. Definitely what was asked by Councilman Kelsey. And then on the 7th, she will be here to talk a little bit more and answer any follow-up questions. Guessing here which one to go next. Let's go 1412 Morris. So we were notified, so maybe a little step back. 1412 Morris is a building that the building department has looked at and decided that it is a good candidate for the dangerous building, as a dangerous building, and have started down that road to get that particular property tore down. The interesting thing with 1412 Morris is that is actually owned by the Michigan Land Bank Fast Track Authority. And this is something that we've known for a number of years, and when they were having any difficulty in maintaining it, we've reached out and talked to them about actually living up to their ownership responsibilities. So we were kind of moving along with this until, in terms of demolition, and it was going out to be a part of the demolition project when we received a notice from the Attorney General's office, and they let us know that they are exempt from getting any liens placed on property that they own. There has been a conversation between the city attorney and the Attorney General's office on this. I don't know all the particulars of that, and I think when the city attorney, Zelenek, is back at the next meeting, he can maybe elaborate a little bit more on this. But what we've decided to do is kind of slow it down a little bit. Spoke with John earlier. We're taking it off of the bid process and looking at what options we have available to undertake that process. So effectively what they're saying is, yeah, you can go tear it down, but you're not going to recover anything from the state on that. But we are looking at some different angles on that to try to get that taken care of, because it is a property that is definitely in need of being torn down.
Through the chair,
Yes.
if I may. Mr. Koppler, on this particular property, are they paying to get the grass cut too? Or I mean, because obviously if we pay, we can't, what do you call it?
You know, I don't know if
Special
we've ever had
assessment?
if we've actually done it, because I remember I got involved and talked with them to get them to come out and handle it. This would have been, I think, about 2 years ago, wasn't it? A year and a half, 2 years ago, looking at Ray, and you just, this one doesn't stand out in your mind. It's such a great property.
And it's boarded up, right?
No, I didn't think it was boarded up, at least in the pictures that I saw, it's not boarded up.
No?
Not
Oh, okay.
totally. But I think they did, after that particular instance, did go out and mow it, but they do not mow it on a property owner's schedule. So it's usually getting fairly high before they'll go out and take care of it. I think it's actually like
So
once a
they are,
month.
but we're not.
I don't believe that I haven't seen that address come up, so I don't think we are.
I don't recall that address.
But I'll check.
I was curious.
Is there a way that we can have them pay to have it torn down? Or that would be a city attorney question.
Yeah, that's, I think, what we're looking at, those different options.
I think we should call Help Me Hank. Get on the TV.
Yep.
Do they, you know what, through the chair, if I may, do they have it listed as a vacant property? I mean, do we have it like that, certified as a vacant property?
He's shaking his head, so I'm assuming that is the case. Do they pay for that? That's what, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. The state is not very willing to pay what other residents that are in similar situations would pay, and we don't have a lot of options. So, but to let you know, so this was going to be done, tore down through the CDBG, using CDBG money. So again, we like to get that money returned to us, but again, we'll have to look at that and see if in the end, if our only option is to pay for it, to take care of the blight situation, we may have to eat that money. But again, we're looking at that, and nothing has been decided at this point.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
Try living next door to that house. I lived across the street from for a lot of years. It needed to come down years ago. It's extremely bad now, so you can go look at it and just imagine you're living next door to that.
Yep. Again, I think there may be, if they want to work with us, there may be a couple options that we can get this advanced and take care of it. But again, we just received this letter last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So we may have some solutions soon. I didn't know if you were going to, under your remarks, or if Council President, if you were going to talk about the Beaumont meeting,
Oh, forgot
Does
about
it
it.
make a difference?
to make a difference.
go
So,
ahead.
you might recall, we had a meeting last week, I believe it was, with Beaumont, Dearborn Beaumont, or Beaumont Dearborn. They wanted to reach out. You might remember Councilman Kelsey kind of brought this forward as them wanting to meet with us and discuss what they can do working with the city. I think we had a relatively good conversation with them. They gave us an overview of, what they're doing at their facility. I think there's some interesting things that they're doing. And we also talked about ways that they could help us make this community a better place as well.
Yeah, they took it very seriously. I mean, the CEO of the hospital was there, the leading doctors, the different groups were there also. They had a team of about probably 10, all said and done. So I thought it was a very, very good meeting that we had with them. Yeah, look forward to working with them.
I did send out earlier some background on 1580-82 Fort, and in particular, that issue is related to a water bill. It would appear that there was some type of leak, ran up a fairly large amount. They have requested, as you're aware, that we waive part or all of that water bill. And as I had stated to you in my email, our code right now does not allow for any waiver or permanent or full waiver of water bills. The expectation is they all get paid. And the only thing that we right now have the legal ability to do is extend payments. And again, we've, I would like to go through our process and follow through with that. The next step, I may have mentioned, is for us to get one of our techs out there to look at the meter, because I want to make sure that there isn't a meter problem. I'm not saying that there is a meter problem, but there's been enough experience where, we get out there and we actually look at the meter and we find that there's a faulty meter that caused the issue. So I'd like to get all those things eliminated before we, talk more with you about what your options are in terms of that bill. Hopefully, we'll be able to get our tech in there in the next few days to ascertain if it is actually a working meter and there's no issues with it.
Through the chair, if I may, because we're talking about this property.
Yeah.
Are they supposed to pay their taxes too before they get a CFO?
That would be, if I'm not mistaken, before you issue it, it's all monies due the city have to be paid for a C of O. Actually, I didn't look at the tax piece, so I'm not sure of that. Okay. Animal shelter. Okay, I've been going back and forth with our engineering firm on this, and so we'll be bringing at the next meeting the permission to go out to bid for Phase 2. We had a lot of discussion on the best way to accomplish not only the building of this, but also keeping it within a certain budget, and going back and forth from a traditional kind of bid where it's designed and bid and then built to a more design build, where we effectively put out an RFP that says, we want someone to design and build this property. It's going to speed up the actual building of it, and put more onus on the design builder to overcome some of the issues that we're probably going to face with that. So in the end, we get exactly what we want. They build it. Won't be any of the typical issues where it was designed this way, but we can't do it because it's not possible to do it between the designer and the contractor. I think in the end, it's going to be less expensive and provide a better product and help get this built in a much more expedient way than going the other way. So I'm looking for that, hopefully. What I was told, I will have that for the next meeting. We'll put it on and then get it out the next day.
To the chair, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Are we talking about it building on to the existing building that we purchased? We're not talking about erecting a whole new building else?
Well, technically, we're not building onto that.
Yeah.
We'll be, in some ways, attaching to it, but this will be a separate building. But again, it'll be intertwined in some way, so operationally it'll work. There will be a restroom, there'll be office space. We're looking for additional kennel space as well. I can't remember some of the things that make operations a lot better in terms of, possibly having space to isolate animals when they come in before we put them with the general population. So it's needed. We knew we were going to do it. It took a little bit longer to get to where we're at today, but we are here and going to be getting that out after the next meeting. Councilman Kelsey, unfortunately not here, but been working with AT&T on a complaint about the sound quality for the channel, our PEG channel. We are also trying to figure out, and actually based upon things that were done today with our new IT company, we've isolated where potentially the issue is now. We've kind of ruled out that it's on AT&T side. It's probably on our side of that connection. So we are waiting to get the company that has done quite a bit of the installation of equipment into the room to get in here to look at that and trace it back to make sure that there aren't any issues with the line itself. Had a meeting earlier today with Giles Tucker, Leah Dumichel, John Myers regarding the signs, and they are working to get the survey to you so we can start putting together all that. They believe that they will be in position to have a discussion, a study session with mayor and council on October 7th. So I will be bringing at the next meeting a resolution to schedule that study session. Don't want to do it now because I don't know, based upon everything else we're doing, if there's going to be another study session related recruitment. So I'm going to keep that open, and hopefully I'll have that answered by the time that I have this in next week or this week, I guess, for the council packet, so.
Okay, through the chair, I have a question for him.
Yes, ma'am.
On the signs,
Yes.
they aren't actually drafting things yet. They're not moving ahead and preparing amendments or anything already without council's input, are they?
So my understanding, the only thing that they've been working on is to get us square with the Gilbert decision.
With the what?
The Gilbert
Okay.
decision. So there has been some work, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if there's anything beyond that that's been done. But my understanding of the meeting today, the only thing that's been drafted is what the current code needs to bring it up to Gilbert standards.
Okay, because after talking, here or there with different council people or whatever, there are some things that I believe that should be grandfathered in, should remain the same. I don't really think we need a drastic change to a lot of the sign ordinance, and I just didn't want them to go ahead and spend all this time and effort preparing it before they knew where council was heading.
Yeah, if they're doing that, they're doing it at their own risk, because I agree with what you said, so.
Through the chair, I agree with you too. Matt, you took off too fast. Comcast also have the problem with sound.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think the only other issue I had for tonight was I know that the mayor had spoken to me about one of the positions that we're looking to fill within the HR realm. And I think in looking at it, from our standpoint, we thought we had explained the position during the budget, but I don't know if that's necessarily the case. It was in the budget, but again, I don't know if we did what we should have done in terms of providing information on that. So kind of taking a step back, right now, when you look at our operations, we have a part-time individual that is doing some of the work related to the hiring process, testing, getting information from the candidates. The person's also working on the billing for the retirees that we're doing, which is quite extensive, and following up to make sure that people are paying their money that's due to the city. And also working on doing reporting for the OSHA logs that we have to do. There's undoubtedly, Ms. Sparks does a lot more than that, but those are the things that just come to mind right off the top of my head. Ms. Sparks has indicated to us late last year that this would be her final year, potentially. And with all respect to her, what she said is, I'm going to give you a date at some point in the future. She hasn't given that date yet, but we know that that time is coming very shortly. She would like to enjoy her retirement days soon. And so this started last year, late last year, when we started looking at the budget. We thought the way that we were going to be filling it related to how the work was going to be done in the payroll. Because that was originally, if you remember, last year's budget, we had an upgrade to the payroll clerk's position, taking it from a clerical to a GLC position. So there's a few $1,000s difference between what that pay would be. It didn't work out. I guess the best way to put it is, didn't work out the way that we thought it would work out, and we ended up being able actually to get someone to fill that position at a clerical level the way that it was filled before. And we was thinking that we would be able to do that. I guess what I'm saying is we were able to do what, in that case, what we thought we'd be able to do. The other part of it and what was put into the budget was looking at filling the void that would be created by Ms. Sparks' retirement, second retirement, was going to be using a full-time person. And the reason that we wanted to go to a full-time person with that is, there has been from mayor and council identified some deficiencies in our hiring process related to the recruitment and how we can get more things done. I have identified some issues that we have related, again, to our safety program, because we don't devote enough time to our safety program from an organizational standpoint, and that could end up costing us money down the road. I mean, I know for a fact the police chief was visited last week by our insurance carrier, and they are going to be talking to all of our departments here very shortly, my guess, based upon some safety concerns that I've shared and tried to push throughout the organization as well. But we need time devoted to that. This position wouldn't be doing that, but would be able to offload some of the work that's on the HR manager that would allow that position to start focusing on these, what I call value-added concerns that are going to reduce our overall cost down the road. So that was kind of the mindset behind why we wanted to do a full-time position. I think beyond the fact of that is the difficulty we're going to have. Ms. Sparks is a once-in-a-lifetime employee. She has all the knowledge of the city, worked in, HR for a long time. I mean, I'm not even sure when she started, to be honest, but losing her is going to be a tremendous loss to our organization, the knowledge that we're going to be losing. But there really isn't a part-time person out there, I don't believe, that we can get to fill that role and still be able to do all these other things that I think are going to be important for the city going forward that we really just have not been focusing on to the degree that I think we need to do that. And the concept behind that, and this all should have been explained better, I think, in the budget process, was to address all those deficiencies and allowing people at the higher pay end to do these higher level things that need to be done within the organization. So I don't know if that clarifies.
You're the chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Gina has done an excellent job,
No doubt.
no doubt. And she's been able to handle all of the insurances, all of the retirees and everything else on a part-time position. I don't understand, other than we have trouble getting part-timers, why would we create this full-time position and put it in the management bargaining unit, so even the salary is higher, when there are so many other positions, places that we need more bodies at the DPS. And I understand that for the last 8 months, they have asked that the rehab clerk down at the Community Development Department, they've added the home program and the sewer lead program, and different things have been added to it. And she has been asking for that position that's currently held, that's the girl is currently doing the work on a part-time basis, that it be made a full-time position, and it would not cost the general fund anything because it would come out of CDBG money. So, I mean, there's so many places. I just didn't quite, when I saw the posting, I was just shocked that we were going from a part-time position to a full-time in the mid-management bargaining unit at a higher rate of pay and making it a full-time position. That's where I was confused. And just to verify you, I looked at the budget just to make sure the money was there, and yes, the money is there.
Yeah.
So it just, if it's being done now by a part-timer, completed, done, or whatever, I just didn't understand what the need was to make, in other words, like an assistant HR director.
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay, what would you call her?
I can't remember what the title is, to be honest, but
I read
I don't know if
it,
it's
but
an HR specialist or something like that, maybe. Don't quote me on that, but
Okay.
it's not, I understand, and believe me, I can go through every department and tell you what their staffing needs are. At least what they've told me, what their staffing needs are. I mean, I had the conversation with the chief during the budget. They wanted to add another position within the DB. And again, all these things can make sense. This one, again, based upon the way that the wages were within the finance and city management, we're able to make this work to be able to do what we're doing. So it was, from our perspective, a budget neutral approach to addressing an issue that again, we understand there are more things that we could be doing, but you just don't have enough bodies to get those things done. And we're at the point where, having that happen now, as we're doing that transition for that part-time person going to be stepping away, makes the sense. I mean, again, we talked about putting it off till later, but I just think that with everything going on, with me leaving, a lot of different things going on, now is the time to get that done. But I mean, I understand and appreciate what you're saying. If Ms. Sparks was here right now, she probably would have a different point of view. I'll tell you that, because I talked to her again today about it, and she feels that there is a lot more that could be done in her position at a full-time rather than at a part-time level.
Through the chair,
Yes.
is that going to be a union job?
Yep.
So the union girls are going to be able to bid on that?
Yeah, it's been put out to the unions or internal candidates, yes.
And it's already been budgeted for?
Yep. Yeah. Again, I think we did not do the job that we should have done in explaining all that to all of you. There's no doubt about that.
Through the chair, if I could.
Yes, go ahead.
I guess the comment that I have is with the lady that's retiring, she's been with us a long time, so the one coming in would not be making as much as our longtime employee.
No, she was a part-time employee. She wasn't making that much.
She was making hourly.
Yeah.
Well, hourly.
Yeah.
She's not going to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
On an hourly basis.
Yeah, I'd have to look. Off the top of my head, I can't tell you what the hourly pay for her was. But again, when we looked at the total compensation package, it was going to be paid for in the changes that we made.
Oh, well, that's true, because part-time wouldn't have benefits.
Yeah.
Anything else, Ms. Coughlin?
That's all I had prepared. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Through the chair?
Yes, sir.
I talked to you about this earlier in the week, and you were going to get back to me. Cameras, we had a company come forward after what happened in Quant Park, and who offered to put up cameras, and I'd like to know where progress is on that.
Yeah, so my response back at that time was we had received a quote because obviously if you have cameras, you have to have electricity. And so the quote we received, I think, was $2,900 and some change. We'll need to get a couple more quotes because our policy is 3 quotes for those type of things. So we'll be working to get those.
I really wanted to see that come through. I'd like to see that as a pilot program. The cameras in the parks are a very much needed thing. Our parks are being attacked by vandals, and we need to stop. And if this can work, then we need to expand it. And this would be a good, cheap way to find out if it'll work.
Through the chair, I have a question for Mr. Kopler.
Yep.
Have we posted the DDA director position?
It's not the city's.
Or it's not? It's not.
That would be the DDA, and the EDC would have to take care of that.
So are we going to have a lapse in, I guess, that position? I'm curious.
Well, there's a possibility. Yeah.
There is? Okay. That's all.
Anything further for Mr. Kopler? All right, then we're moving on. Speaking of the EDC DDA director for his
Final
report. Yeah, I guess it'd be the final report.
Hello.
Mr. Giles Tucker.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, this is somewhat bittersweet. This will be my final report to council. Last time that I spoke with you was all the way back in April 15th, so obviously a lot's happened between the EDC, the DDA, and our Brownfield Authority. Wanted to start off by getting all our meetings out of the way. The last 2 weeks of my employment here in Lincoln Park are kind of a whirlwind of meetings. Our next regular meeting for the DDA is going to be September 12th. We have scheduled 2 informational meetings for the DDA on October 10th and November 14th, and those are going to be held at 5 p.m. Those are usually when we do normal DDA meetings. We're kind of flipping it. So per our requirements for PA 57, we're required to provide at least 2 informational meetings talking about what the DDA has been doing and what their future plans are. And we also have to notify each taxing jurisdiction. So I'm notifying you now, but also we need to notify Wayne County. So I've taken it upon myself to already develop that presentation. So in the off chance that there isn't a replacement for my position in October and November, you at very least have the presentation ready so someone can just step in and meet that requirement to the state. So normal DDA meetings will be held at 7 p.m. on those dates, October 10th and November 14th. Since the last time we spoke, we added Sam Ekman to the DDA, so the DDA is has a full group again. Our next regular meeting for the EDC is coming up next week at September 10th. They've asked me to once again revisit the food truck ordinance. So I know that we had gone through it. I'd provided a few options, and then I was asked to go back to the drawing board on what I would prefer as an ordinance. And then after looking around the state, my views changed, and I thought that the special events permit was, in many cases, an adequate tool to allow that type of use. I see Donna agrees with me there. But nevertheless, they'd like to provide a recommendation on that and then bring it to council. So we're going to be knocking that out. As of right now, we have a good amount of folks that have agreed to join us September 11th at 6 p.m. for a joint meeting between the EDC, the DDA, and the Planning Commission. The purpose of that meeting would be to discuss the Redevelopment Ready program through the MEDC and where we are in the process of being certified as a Redevelopment Ready community. We're, as of right now, about a third of the way through, but of that third that we have got done are most of the heavy lifting, the biggest piece being the master plan. From the master plan on, the role of the Planning Commission, the Economic Development Corporation, and the DDA will be to start developing some of the smaller plans that come off of the master plan. So right off your master plan, we need to update our economic development strategy, and after we do that, marketing plan, and if you can include a branding plan, that would be great. And then once you have those in place, you can start building out things along wayfinding and logos and the like, all of which are part of our certification process. So more on that. We just want to make sure that we have at least 3 representatives from each commission at that September 11th meeting. We're not going to be doing any official business or voting on anything in particular. We might create a steering committee to kind of move this process forward as far as certification. Probably the biggest regret of leaving Lincoln Park when I did was I wanted to leave with Lincoln Park being a redevelopment ready certified community. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case, but I think that if we had commitment all throughout council and all our boards and commissions, this could be completed by the end of this fiscal year. I could see it happening by June if that's us really hustling though. Okay, so you approved the purchase order today, which I thank you. The DDA agreed to finish the last leg of our downtown lighting upgrades, which is a $180,000 reinvestment in our downtown. It includes streetlights all the way from Outer Drive to Champaign on Fort Street. A part of that project was also eliminating probably 104 of those ugly pedestrian lights. I call them the cube lights. So if you've noticed a lot of cones in the downtown, that's because they're removing the bases and replacing them with cement. So we're eliminating at least 104 hazards and trip hazards, and we're upgrading all our lighting. It's in the development stage on the DTE's side, so it takes them about a month to map out how they want to do it, and then they approach the community on a date. So I would expect new lights in by towards the end of this year is in general, from my experience, when we could expect to have that part finished. In June of this year, the city of Lincoln Park was gracious enough to provide a parking lot assessment for all the downtown parking. And what Hennessy Engineers did is they did something similar to what we do on our rows with the Paiser score, and they have identified the infrastructure needs of our parking lots and alleyways, because a significant complaint that I'm seeing in the downtown are very poor, especially our approaches to the alleys. And those are kind of the lifeline to our existing businesses down there. A lot of things were found. You're looking at, I would say, 1.7 million in total reinvestment was estimated. So future planning for the DDA should be considering ongoing reinvestment and potentially a partnership with the city. I can't emphasize enough how important the alleyways and the parking lots are to the downtown businesses. It's one of the key benefits to having a business in the downtown. And along with that, because this is the last time I'll have this role, I would like my side streets done too. If you look at the road map, you'll notice that every side street in the downtown is also red. So, like many residents, I will be complaining about the roads. But I just wanted to bring that to attention. They have identified those problems. It is a significant reinvestment, and I hope that's on the forefront of everyone's mind with DDA's future planning. We also, this summer, or past summer, we identified the condition of all our planter boxes in our downtown. We have just shy of 90. Eventually, we'd like to remove those. The DDA should be looking into providing getting some sort of estimate on a removal cost, and then starting a plan to design. We have trees that are obscuring businesses that make it very challenging, given the speed limit, to see businesses when you're going down to the downtown. We've had multiple complaints of that. And also the planter boxes themselves are really degraded. So that's another very big ongoing project that the DDA should be looking at in the future. We reinstituted our parking lot striping, and we're doing it again this year. That's happening now. We also purchased 30 trash bins for the downtown and have expanded that. As of last week, we had 8 installed, so we have new trash bins on Southfield Road and as well as the Painter's Supply parking lot. A total, I believe, 26 will actually go out, and we're going to keep 4 in reserve. That way, if a need to replace, we have them on hand. Last week, I was informed by the DNR that we have once again been awarded $3,000 in our tree planting grant. So every year that I've been the director, we've always planted trees in our downtown and in our parks. So we're going to continue that. Which is a nice thing to kind of fill out our our medians in the 4th Street. Some of the economic development activities that have gone on since April that I think are significant is our development team has established a tracking system using Trello. So Trello is an online program that the state uses to track your redevelopment ready progress. So I took that, and it's a free service, and essentially it makes these digital flashcards that you're able to kind of everyone else in your team. So if there's something that I need John to work on or something I need Leah to work on, as soon as that intake of the new business comes in, we're able to create a card, assign tasks, track it, and that way everyone's kind of in the loop. Because one of the challenges that we face here in the development process is I'm upstairs, John's out in the inspections or in the building department, and Leah's in Ann Arbor. So providing a digital way that updates what needs to be done next to work from somebody from site selection to getting their C of O has been an interesting experiment. We welcomed Get Well Urgent Care to our downtown earlier this summer. We have a very important meeting with R.A. Smith in Wayne County on October 9th. Has some stuff to do with stormwater management for the former Sears site. So we do have some progress on what they'd like to do on the site. I think their initial plans are to clear the site and then hopefully get themselves set for this next spring, so they have a construction season for a redevelopment, which is very exciting. But that's as far as I know. Nothing is for sure. We're in the process of going through a small business loan with our downtown gym, Raise the Bar. So I'm expecting information on that to follow up with their loan application today or tomorrow. I just wanted to throw this out here. We have not had any facade improvement grant applications submitted, so we have $20,000 available to help a downtown business improve their storefront. That includes things like outdoor exterior lighting, that includes awnings, signage to a degree, that means restoring brick to its original glory. We do have funds to help incentivize some of those investments. Finally, Cinco de Mayo was awesome this year. We did a great job. It was the first time that we ever, is that me or someone else? It's really loud. It was the very first time that we ever had our event break even. So that's a $16,000 event that we were able to pay for just through sponsorship alone, which is a big deal for us. Tomorrow is the cannabis meeting, so it's our last CDOC meeting, Cannabis Economic Development Opportunity Commission, or Committee. We're going to be meeting tomorrow at the library at 6 p.m., and I will have a report to the clerk by September 6th. And with that, this is my very last report. I started as an intern here, working maybe 18 hours a week. And was a fresh student at the MPA program at Wayne State. And I began in 2014, and it's been a great privilege to serve Lincoln Park residents for the 5 years. I really cut my teeth in this community. I have very fond memories, and I really appreciate the opportunity that I've been afforded. So with that, I'll take questions.
Giles, with the lights, just explain a little bit about how that look is going to change. I know that we're going to a teardrop sort of light, and it's going to be consistent all throughout the downtown.
Yes, so if you'd like to see what Outer Drive to Champaign will look like, you can just look on Southfield between Fort and I-75. It's all the posts are going to be painted black, and it'll have a teardrop LED. And we're not going to do any more pedestrian light along 4th Street, but that should brighten it up. Another thing that we're going to be doing is upgrading all of the lights in our parking lots. So right now you have like metal halide and high pressure sodium. So you're going to have LED throughout the downtown, including our parking lot areas. Also, we threw in pedestrian lighting in front of City Hall. So those old cube lights, we're going to do those as well. So you'll have some fresh lighting coming in to City Hall as well.
Did you say you got extra facade grants for lighting and stuff?
So the
Did you
DDA,
give one to City Hall?
we've already been very gracious with our facade improvements to City Hall in the past, including your awnings. Yes, no, those two lights that are in front are included in our project with DTE. I don't know what other exterior lighting projects you need, but I'm sure I'll hear about it tomorrow from Matt when he's picking on me. So, okay.
Through the chair,
Yes,
Mayor, in regards to the $20,000 that's available for downtown, who do we contact? If I know a guy in downtown, who should he call?
You should call me. My extension is 1289. So City Hall, 313-386-1800. The DDA offers a 50-50 matching grant for facade improvement to downtown businesses. So if it's within the DDA area, there are restrictions and design standards in which they'd have to follow. A great new example would be the renovation that you saw at BC's Pizza. It would be a great call. But
Anything further? Well, Giles, we thank you for your service from the band shell renovation to, as an intern, saw you working in the clerk's office, just being not the clerk's office, the treasurer's office, being overwhelmed at tax time, but you're willing to jump in and and get your feet dirty. You've shown some great innovation for that, and we wish you the best of luck in Madison Heights.
All right, thank you all. Thank you very much.
Wish you good luck in your new job.
All right, and we have reached the time for citizen communications.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Richard Kudrak. Through the chair, I just have a few quick questions. Is the city going to be able to put the video of the August 26th GPS staffing study session on the city's website?
I believe so.
It's not on the website, that's, okay.
We were having issues that night, so it couldn't go live, but it was my understanding that it will be going back.
All right, would you please put it on the website?
Yep.
And whenever you have a study session on an off night, would somebody please make sure the doors are unlocked? You already passed the resolution to do the schematic design for the Criminal Justice Center. Where is the Criminal Justice Center going to be located?
It's located in the downtown, but the exact location is not being given out just yet.
Well, there was a story I've been hearing more and more. It's going right next to the Park Restaurant, and the Park Restaurant will be torn down by eminent domain or purchase, and the Park Restaurant will take over at the Fort Street Brewery location.
There's no truth to that whatsoever.
Okay. Gotta ask. You're all right. So, when you finalize the location for the Criminal Justice Center, please make it public. Thank you.
Ron Biagini. I want to start with saying thank you, Mr. Koppler, for your AT&T history that you just gave me, the good news that you just gave me. That's why I'm here, because it's been years and years and years with this problem of no volume on AT&T. In other words, we're moving the ball forward, I hope. This is just a matter of time. I hope it gets repaired and fixed and on the way. I got notes and notes and notes. They don't mean anything now since I heard some good news for a change. I don't know, can you give me a timetable? When?
I wish I could. I know that they're reaching out to the company that did the work that we think may have caused the issue, but I haven't got anything yet in terms of when that meeting is going to be. But we're going to work very diligently to get that done in the next couple
Because I was watching, geez, I just got in a problem. Let me get back to my notes now. St. Clair Shores today. They had no problem at all. Very good, clean, hearing, good. Everything was fine and dandy. Maybe you can go there and make sure that their equipment matches our equipment. Everything would be fine. Anyway, thank you, and just thank you again.
Chris Darzinski. Lincoln Park Days, always fabulous, and this year was no exception. Thank you to the Lincoln Park Police Department and CERT that make sure that that is a safe family event for everyone. I've said it before, and I'm happy to say it again. You actually have to be involved in planning an event of that magnitude to understand how much work goes into making sure that everything comes together and everything goes off without a hitch as much as possible. It is a lot of work. When I say it takes a year to plan an event like that, it does take a year. So congratulations and thank you to the Lincoln Park Exchange Club. It's the largest thing they do. They do other events throughout the year, but it is a big deal. So if you see an Exchange Club member around town, make sure you thank them for the work they do as a service organization.
like our volunteer group, Hands to the City, the Exchange Club, no one gets paid. All these people are people that are members, and they're volunteering their time to be part of a service group, a service organization that makes Lincoln Park what it is. And also, I do believe that if you contacted the Exchange Club a couple months before before Lincoln Park Days and said, "Hey, what can I do to help out?" I'm sure another 10 or 20 more volunteers. They would be glad to have people to do all the stuff that needs to be done. So again, to the Exchange Club, it was a great event, and I got to hear in Infinity and Beyond, a band that's going to be at the All Day Jam. That's a Journey tribute band, and they are spot on. I mean, I'm a pretty big Journey fan from the 70s, so I can tell you they are spot on good. Lincoln Park Community Association is hosting the Downriver Open House. That'll be at the Icarus Hall, 1677 4th Street. That is September 22nd, Sunday. My dad's 91st, or would have been my dad's 91st birthday. 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Everyone downriver is invited. We want to just get together, talk, get to know each other personally, and see what the future of downriver should be. Everyone is invited: business owners, public officials, residents, people that oversee groups, organizations, clubs of all kinds. Come on out. This is for you, so please come on out. Hands of the City, next planning meeting is Sunday, September 22nd, 5 p.m. VFW Post 552, 1125 4th Street. And, bring a new volunteer with you. The Crossroads Revival event I'm planning is Saturday, September 28th. That is noon to 10:30 p.m. VFW Post 552, 11254 4th Street. $10 per adult, $25 per family. That's 2 adults and 5 kids. Mix that any way you want as far as a family. And all proceeds will go to support the food pantry at Blessed Hope Christian Church. It's all-day Christian music, all-you-can-eat food, raffle items as they come in. So please come out and help stock a local food pantry that is feeding people far less fortunate than ourselves. Rocktober, Hands of the City event, Saturday, October 12th, 8 p.m. at the Moose Lodge, 1600 4th Street. Channel Cats is the 70s cover band. $5 general admission, $4 if you're wearing a costume, $3 if you are a lodge member. And proceeds will benefit Hands of the City events. We'll have some raffle items, and we're looking to get some more raffle tickets going. So lots of stuff going on in the city. Everybody please come out, support these events, support the service organizations and volunteer groups that put on these events. They're a lot of work, and it's what makes the community a better place. Thank you.
Good evening, Annette DiMaggio, Elliott Avenue. Good evening, Mayor and Council, those that are here and those that'll watch this. I'm just here to give another reminder about our 3 cleanup events during September. So the first one would be Saturday. That's this Saturday coming up, September 17th, 10 to 2 at Memorial Park. The second event will be next Saturday, September 14th, at the Historical Museum, again, 10 to 2 o'clock. And there's still, the third one, we still don't have a date. I wanted to let Emily Sisma at the high school get a couple days under her belt before we decide on a day to do the second quadrant planting in the garden at Memorial Park. So all 3 things are very similar. Bring your wheelbarrow, garden gloves, shovels, rakes, weed whackers, saws, et cetera, et cetera. So we want to take this time in the fall. What we do in the fall really makes a big difference on how things are going to look in the spring and the summer. So I hope to see everybody out there, especially the complainers. So please join us, come out. And even if you're not able to do this type of work, just come out and visit and just show our camaraderie. These are always
very nice events to meet people and to see who's willing to come out and volunteer. Thank you very much.
Lita Tony, I'm here to respond to Hennessy engineer Ryan Kern's report to you. Last meeting, August 19th. I have a lot to say. I'm going to try to stick to what I wrote, and I know I won't have enough time, but I'll give it a shot. I come before you tonight not because I want to, but because facts matter. The fact that you all heard Mr. Kern give a report on my home and probably closed the chapter, since again, we're pinning it on the homeowner. I sincerely believed in 2016 when my husband and I met with John Hennessy, we were beyond this. Mr. Hennessy even believes it's not our service lateral, which the pipe is fully tapped into the city line. We have had 8 private drain specialists and master plumbers tell us nothing is wrong with our line. The problems are on the city side. Even the last time in 2016, in which we provided the data to the city and used a master plumber recommended by the engineer, Hennessy, said that our line was fine. I really thought we had moved beyond this. When Mr. Kern reported to you, I noticed he did not furnish you anything in his fancy report, anything on manhole 94. Well, that's the manhole that's been the problem all along. That's where the 90-foot sewer line that I'm connected to can't drain out because that manhole is surcharged. And I can prove it. I have pictures and videos too. In the corner house, the landlord was going to be here today, but she thought it was for next Monday. I explained to you what's going on with that rental home. You know, so you got 90 feet of sewer line. I'm tapped in at 40 feet. In Mr. Kern's report, he didn't explain to you the pipe deformation where I'm tapped in, my line is plunged forward because it's sagging. It's called a pipe belly. That's why my line moved in. And when I came to Mr. Koppler, I was basically saying, watch out what's going around on the surface, because now it can be seen. I know what's going on underneath. The Marion manhole that is submerged underwater when the street floods, it's well beyond the storm belt, as stated by Mr. Kern. He didn't tell you in 2016 when he went to televise it, it was full of mud. Immediately at the manhole. Call in other equipment, 3 hours, televise it, gets down to the downward part where the Monty House sewer lateral has plunged through. He tells me there's a 10-foot belly. That's why that sewer lateral plunged through. And I know that line was full of mud and water 4 years prior when the city went to televise it and sucked the water out with the vac truck, but they still televised it, and I have that video. That was my question. You know, a sewer line full of mud, and nobody questions how's that mud getting in there. And as far as the alley, that storm drain is not working. This water is up to the top. It had been sitting there. It's all dry around. And the manhole at the end of the alley where the homeowner on the corner house of Marion and Seacott put a piece of rubber and a bag of mulch on top of it, thinking he's going to stop the stormwater from going in. All those homes from the end of the system, all the way down Marion, all the way back down Ferris, back to my home, including the house next to me, the tri-level. Years and years and years. Basement backups. I ran into a homeowner on my way here. He said his wife was working on it, the FEMA claim. And I thought, oh, brother. So facts matter. This is about the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Lincoln Park. And it's not just about me, because these problems aren't going away. Thank you.
Anyone else under citizen communications?
My name's Jeff Watson. Good evening, council, mayor. Yeah, that was, I've been very interested of things that's been going on for a while here at council and politics and everything. And I know that the city manager's leaving, and been about 4 years of that tenure, something like that. $500,000 in wages. My real concern is my friend Lita Tony, who I met not too long ago. That she's been addressing this council for many, many, many years. Trying to do her own investigations, trying to FOIA records. Our own engineers say nothing's wrong as far as her end goes. Everything's all covered up. I mean, what does it take to get someone's attention here when a citizen comes? I know what's happened to me in this town a couple times. But it's heart-wrenching to actually see it happen to other people. And I feel a little nervous to have to approach the council like this because, you know, I'm only allowed so many minutes and you're not allowed to comment on anything. But the information Miss Tony has been going on for a long time. I would hope that the, you know, people that are involved or with the power decide to do something for the. She's not the only one that's complained on that block, Mr. Koppler. I just wanted to mention that there is another. All the FEMA things have been denied for the last flooding for the people. I went through a lawsuit once, and by order of the court, they did finally fix my intersection. Okay, we got through that, but now there's another one forming right now. And Mike, I would like to know, since they got denied through FEMA, is it going to be the same circle as it's been, Lincoln Park's been going through for many, many years? Is homes are getting flooded, they're not, the city's not making any attention to it, maybe unless a grant comes around or, you know, a saw or something like that. But I mean, focusing in on that with the homeowners has been put aside for a long, long time. And it like I say, to actually see people where they get raw sewage in their homes and stuff like that, and there's no priority when citizens actually come to the council and discuss these issues. It's kind of like politically everybody says one thing, the department head will say another. Well, you try to get your information to find out for yourself, and it's all covered up. I mean, I'm letting you know this last flood with the FEMA, I'm going to mention Mr. Koppler knew about the other one. They're going to form another class action suit again. Okay. I would hope that maybe you would just make a claim on your insurance to begin with, instead of letting it go through the political and attorneys and go through all the system, and then finally gets out. It's just getting, and they're getting ready to form another one. And I don't, you know, nobody likes to talk about lawsuits, or I don't know how, if you settle the lawsuit, where does the payment come from? Does it come from an insurance that the city has? Or does it come out of some other fund that the city is in charge of? How does that all work? Okay, well, see, well, that's what, even more, you know, if anybody that's lived in this town for many years can see, if you're looking from the outside and not from a political view, but we got the schools covered. Even though we're paying interest on it that some people don't like, we got the schools covered. The kids are taken care of, okay? We got the development, DDA development coming into process. When are the homeowners going to matter? Who made the decision, don't do nothing, let them sue? Somebody has to make that decision here. Who? Instead of saying, okay, we'll make a claim on the insurance, we know that your infrastructure underneath, we are liable for it, okay? And help the residents for a change. Thank you.
Anyone else for citizen communications? Seeing none, we'll move on to oral reports of the council. Council President Breeding.
I want to extend my condolences to the Elder family. Cindy, her mom Carol, Cassie, and her sister Carrie worked on the elections for me when I was city clerk for the last 25, 30 years. Everyone came through every time. Great people, great family, always there, and they were just super, super people. And Cindy went through quite a bit in the last year. She was extremely ill, and I hate that she passed away, but she was extremely ill. Again, I want to remind everyone that the Community Improvement Commission has lost some more members, so they can't even have a meeting, and the Parks and Recreation is short members. So if you know of anyone who wants to volunteer for either one of these two commissions, please contact the city, because they're desperate for people. The meeting with Beaumont, it was very interesting. I tell you, the mayor should have had a camera going because he's a salesman. He tried to get them to buy the Sears location in Grand Saukwas. He wanted them to build a hospital or a urgent care over there. Many things were discussed, and they were discussing, basically, I think they really were just looking for us to tell them what we could ask them to do for us. But a lot of the things, the mayor tried to get them to pledge for Cinco de Mayo, and they said no, they couldn't do something like that. So, all in all, they said they might be able to put some kind of a program through for the seniors, like for blood pressure checks or whatever. But they said they were going to look into quite a few things. But it was very interesting. They definitely had the top brass there. So, and with that, I think I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Salcido.
Yes, good evening, residents of Lincoln Park. Just a couple quick notes. Lincoln Park Days, yes, it was nice to see family, friends, and neighbors get together, and co-schoolers, my past school buddies, so it was nice seeing all them. Thanks for the Exchange Club for putting that on, and all the volunteers that helped out. And also, as the mayor had mentioned earlier, school is back. Please drive carefully. Some kids may not use the crosswalks, so always drive slower around the schools and in the neighborhoods, please. That's all, Mayor.
Thanks, sir. Councilwoman Ross.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a couple quick reminders. The Kiwanis Club is sponsoring their Design a Bookmark contest for the school-age children. So there are blank bookmarks at the library, and that'll be going until October 1st. Another reminder, the Household Hazardous Waste Program, the next and last event is Saturday, October 3rd, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Taylor Wayne County Community College. And that'll be the last one for this year that I'm aware of. And just I want to say personal thank you to Giles, and a very personal thank you to our department heads for a job well done on the budget. Thank you.
Councilman Higgins.
Thank you. I'd like to announce once again, the Lincoln Park Moose is doing a food drive in coordinates with the Hands of the City. They're taking any food, non-perishable food, if you drop it off at the Moose anytime after 6 o'clock. That's on 4th Street, 2 blocks past Southfield. And they are going to bring it to local food pantries. A lot of our pantries are running really low right now and need all the help they can get. The Moose is stepping forward, and what they're going to do is do their food drive into New Year's night, and then on New Year's Eve at the penny drop, they will be making an announcement about how much food has been brought in, and a big thank you for the city. I also want to give a big thank you to everybody involved in Lincoln Park Days. It was spectacular this year. I understand that they broke records at several different places throughout Lincoln Park Days for the crowd, and congratulations to all involved. It was just a wonderful couple of days. I'd like to remind everybody again about the cleanup at the Banshall or Memorial Park on Saturday, 10 a.m. Volunteers have put this together who care about our community. Please come out and let's show our community is still what we are. Come out and again, I'd like to also, I was at the event today at the schools where the police came in with the Alice training, and it was a very good training, and I thank the police department for what they did. And remind everybody once again, school's open, watch out, them kids, they'll dart out in front of you in a minute just to see if you'll stop. So please be careful. And that's all for tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Councilman Parkinson.
Thank you. And stop for the school buses.
Yes.
Mr. Kudak brought up the door was locked last meeting. The door was broke, and it snapped shut. And later, when we got down there, it was reopened again. There was a Velcro strap on there, and somebody took off the Velcro strap. So now, if you look now, it's taped open to get access for this meeting. The part should be here soon. Matt, I talked to you before about the MERS, and you wrote back that they changed the contract. Well, how can they change the contract if somebody else didn't sign it? Well, the city dictator signed that contract that nobody else wanted. We didn't want it. All the retirees said no, and he signed it anyway. I think you should direct the city attorney to go back there and see what that contract says, if they can go change that contract anytime they want. That's just like saying, my mortgage company come up and say, well, we didn't make enough money on you, so we're going to give you a mortgage another 15 years. And I don't believe that's right. I think we need the city attorney to look at that. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. For Lincoln Park Days, I'm very remiss in not thanking the CERT group and everyone that was involved in that volunteering, and our police department and the exceptional job that they did for that. We're fortunate in our town to have those two groups working for us, and I appreciate their efforts with that. Had a meeting with the city manager of Ecorse, Mr. Marsh. It had to do with the creek cleanup. There are projects that are ongoing that goes with their riverfront, and they have plans that are also going to be going for the creek. We are going to be an active part in that planning now. With Nicole is going to be attending those meetings. I'm going to be attending them when I can, and seeing and developing to make the creek area more accessible to our residents, whether it be through kayaking and those things. So there are a lot of things that are still going on with that, but they're working on it an hour every other week or an hour once a month. So there's more cleanups coming, and there's a lot of other little things, kind of exciting for that. I managed to visit the Gitwell Urgent Care. It wasn't my idea at that particular point, but I had a family member that was ill. So went down there for the service. I just say that it was very well done. Family member was very happy with the doctors, the attention that was given. Ended up being fairly sick at that particular time, so it's good to see that. And sitting in their lobby watching the process, it was very efficiently done. So if you feel the need, or you're feeling under the weather, I guess, then that is not a bad place to go and check out. We had, we were talking, Ms. Tony was up here, but you weren't here at the time that the report was presented, as I understand. So what I would like you to do, and arranged by John Kazoo, is to get with Ryan from Hennessy, and go over that report with you, and then you can make your contentions with that, and then go over that, and so that what we found is clear, and then you can ask him direct questions over that. So we'll end up making that happen, and with that, we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Support.
Clerk call the roll.
Councilperson Salcido.
Yes.
Higgins.
Yes.
Breeding.
Yes.
Parkinson.
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
And Mayor Carnes.
Yes, and thanks to Amy for stepping in for Ed. We appreciate that. We'll even give it a...